I want to set the stage for you guys. I want to set the stage. 3 seasons ago, the Canucks scored 21 goals from their blue line. You know what? That's wrong because it says 23, 24. It should be 22, 23. There. It's corrected. That's how fast I am. Now, 3 seasons ago, the Canucks scored 21 goals total from the blue line. And I get it. I'm not just going to be talking about offense from the blue line because they're paid to be defensemen, not offensive men. But this adds to kind of my argument why I think the Canucks blue line is going to be so much better this year. So 3 years ago, the Canucks scored 21 goals total from defensemen. Hughes only had 7. And then check this out, guys. If this want to make you sad, if this doesn't make you sad, I don't know what will. Luke Shen, 3 goals. Ethan Bear, 3 goals. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, 2 goals. Guillaume Brisebois, 2 goals. Jack Rathbone, 1 goal. Cole McWard, 1 goal. Tyler Myers, 1 goal. So only Hughes and Myers from just 3 seasons ago are still with this team. And Hughes was the leading goal scorer from defensemen with just 7 goals. 7 goals. Fast forward to 2 seasons ago. They went from 21 goals to 37 goals. And this is Quinn Hughes led with 17. Then Phil Hronek had 5. Tyler Myers had 5. And Nikita Zadorov had 5 in only 54 games, which was quite impressive. So 17 plus 5, 5, 5. Oh, by the way, in the season before that, the reason why there were hardly any D goals, well, it was 2 things. It was Travis Green, remember, still. No, it was Bruce Boudreau, actually. And then I think, well, I know. The Canucks had 4 guys that scored more than 30 goals that year. And that was obviously Besser, Miller, Horvat, and Petey. All had 30 goals or more. So there weren't a lot of goals left. So that's why there's only 21. Then 2 seasons ago, we had 17 goals. Hughes was the leader. 37 goals. Hughes was the leader with 17. Then I said Myers, Hronek, and Zadorov all had 5. Carson Soucy had 2. Ian Cole had 2. And Noah Juleson had 1. So 2 seasons ago, the defense scored 37 goals. And last year, went up by 1. The Canucks scored 38 goals. So Hughes actually went down from 17 to 16 goals. But then Myers had 6, so an increase of 1. Hronek had his 5. And then Soucy and Branson. Remember him? Branson had 3 goals in only 28 games. Soucy and Branson had 3. Forbert had 2. Marcus Pettersson had 1 in the 31 games he came over. Mancini had 1 in the 16 games he came over. And DPD had 1 in the 28 games since he was called up to the big club. So 21 goals, 37 goals, and 38 goals. Again, I recognize that being a defenseman is more than scoring goals. In fact, that shouldn't be your priority, but this is part of my argument. So we've seen an upward trend for Canucks goals from the blue line in the past 3 seasons. Yes, it was only an increase of 1 last season, but remember, Philip Hronek missed 21 games. Quinn Hughes missed 14 games. Tyler Myers missed 11 games. So even between the top 3 defensemen on our team, they missed 11, 21, 30, 32. They missed 46 games among them. So that's got to be good for 3 or 4 more goals. So I think we would have way more goals from defensemen. So I do think that the Canucks are going to score much more from their blue line. I really do. Maybe you can count on Hughes for another 15 to 20. Maybe you count on Hronek for maybe a few more than 5. Is because he only had 61 games. So maybe he gets 7 or 8. Maybe Myers pops a couple, like maybe 5 or 6 again. But I do think Marcus Pettersson, Mancini, DPD, any of those guys could probably, Forbert, could probably pop, between 5 and 10 between the 4 or 5 of them. So maybe we get to 40 to 50 goals from Canucks defensemen. Here's the thing, you guys. If the Canucks defensemen score more, or at least more of offensive threats, then it will relieve the burden from the forwards a little bit. Not completely, but a little bit. And I know a lot of people are worried about the Canucks forwards because we're not sure what kind of year Elias Pettersson is going to have. How is Brock Besser going to have a good season? How is Evander Kane going to do? Is DeBrusk going to continue his streakiness? But You know, when I said that 3 seasons ago we had 4 30-goal scorers in PD, Miller, Besser, and Horvat? Well, maybe we can get at least 25 from all 4 of PD, DeBrusk, Besser, and Kane. Is Garland good for 15 to 20? Maybe. What about Hedel? Can Sherwood chip in another 15? So, there's no one that screams 40 goal scorer. There's no one that screams even 35 goal scorer consistently. So maybe they're going to have to do it by committee. But if we're getting some offensive push from our defensemen, that's going to help the forwards a lot. And that's just on the offensive side. The other school of thought, the more important school of thought, is if the Canucks defensemen play better defensively, it will lead to more scoring chances on the offensive end for forwards. So let's take a look now at the defensive structure of the Vancouver Canucks. Last season, let's go 3 seasons ago. The main games played 3 seasons ago: Hughes 78, Myers 78, Bear 61, Shen 55, Ekman-Larsson 54, and Breezeball 48. So those were the main defensemen 3 seasons ago: Hughes and Myers, Shen and Bear, Breezeball, and Ekman-Larsson. It's kind of scary, right, when you hear that. 2 seasons ago, the main defensemen were Hughes and Hronek, Myers, Soucy, Zadorov, Cole, and Juleson. Those were the 7 guys that basically played the entire season. Remarkably healthy, like Hughes 82 games, Hronek 81, Myers 77, Cole 78. So only 5 games missed, 6 games missed, 10 games missed between the 4 guys. And then you had Zadorov basically coming over to replace Juleson at the end of the season. Not bad. So the Canucks blue line, the way they ended the 2023-2024 season, where they made the deep playoff run, was pretty good, right? You had a top 6 of Hughes, Hronek, Myers, Soucy, Zadorov, and Cole. Pretty good, I'd say. Then, of course, last year we lost Zadorov, we lost Cole, and we traded Soucy. So the Canucks, I looked it up. Their opening night defenseman for the start of last season was Hughes, Hronek. It was Myers and Soucy, and it was Forbort and Juleson. That's what it was. So Soucy's gone, Juleson's gone, and Soucy had a bad start to the year. Remember, Juleson wasn't great. Myers was pretty good, actually. Hronek was okay. And Hughes was outstanding as always. But we know that in the course of the year, they traded away Carson Soucy. Noah Juleson left at the end of the season. Ian Cole was traded. He didn't come back to start the year. So there are a lot of changes last year. And the leading games was Tyler Myers, who's usually Iron Man, 77, 78, 80 games. He only played 71. Then Hughes was 68. Then Hronek was 61. Then Soucy with 59, but he got traded. Forbort with 54. So only 5 defensemen played more than 50 games, and Soucy was one of them, and he got traded. So where does it all stack up for next season, and why am I so confident? Well, remember, Marcus Pettersson came over in the midseason trade, the series of trades that included JT Miller. And Marcus Pettersson is never going to light it up offensively, but he's so solid defensively. He's a great leader in the room, and he's awesome on the penalty kill. So Marcus Pettersson is better than Carson Soucy. Desharnais started last year. You know who it was? Yeah, my bad. It was Hughes, Hronek, Myers, Desharnais didn't start. I think he got healthy scratch, but we remember that Desharnais and Juleson were basically number 6 and 7 after Hughes, Hronek, Myers, Forbort, and Soucy. So, but Pettersson is better than Desharnais. Pettersson is better than Soucy. Pettersson is better than Juleson. Notice I didn't say which Pettersson. I was talking about Marcus Pettersson, but defenseman Elias Pettersson, he is better than Soucy, I think, already, or will be very quickly. He's better than Juleson. He's better than Vincent Desharnais. And then you have this push from young guys as well. You call DPD a young guy for sure, but then there's also Victor Mancini, who I think played very well in Abbotsford for the Calder Cup. Then you have Tom Villander, finally under contract, ready to come to camp. And then you have insurance in Pierre-Olivier Joseph. Pierre-Olivier is his first name. I keep thinking it's Pierre-Olivier Joseph, but it's Pierre-Olivier Joseph. So let's say Joseph. So I think you're going to have 9 guys battling for 7 spots, maybe 8 on the roster, and of course only 6 that play. Hughes, Hronek, Marcus Pettersson, Myers, I think are locks. Here's your top 4. Then I think DPD is a lock. I think, and then you have Forbort, Joseph, Villander, and Mancini. But don't you think, you guys, that sounds way better? Doesn't that 9, Hughes, Hronek, Pettersson, Myers, Pettersson, Forbort, Joseph, Mancini, and Villander, doesn't that sound way better than Hughes, Hronek, Myers, Forbort, Desharnais, Soucy, Juleson, Wolanin, or whatever it was last year? So I think the Canucks, remember, yes, they lost Pius Suter. They lost Dakota Joshua, 2 key penalty killers. So, of course, you penalty kill as a unit. But on the blue line, you're actually you haven't lost anyone of substance. You lost Noah Juleson, but he was the extra man anyway. Remember, he got injured for the second half of the year. He was going to be the one of the extra men anyways. So, yeah, for discussion purposes, you keep the same top 4, Hughes, Hronek, Marcus Pettersson, and Myers. Then you could start Forbort and then put DPD on the right side, which they did at the end of last year. Or you could go Forbort, Mancini. You could go DPD, Mancini. I do think Tom Villander starts in Abbotsford because there's no rush. He's got a 3-year contract. He's not waiver, he's waiver exempt. So there's no rush with Villander. So if the Canucks carry 8, maybe Villander beats out Joseph and you go Hughes, Hronek, Pettersson, Myers, Forbort, Pettersson, Mancini, and Villander, then DPD can play on his natural left, and then you have 4 lefties, 4 righties. Or maybe Joseph makes the team ahead of Villander. Villander starts in Abbotsford, and then you have 5 lefties, 3 righties, but you can switch DPD over to the right. But this is why I'm kind of getting to what I'm getting at. I think there's going to be more offense. They're naturally going to be healthier. Hopefully, it can't be any worse than last year. And hopefully they're going to create more offense now that DPD and Marcus Pettersson have more, and Mancini have half a season under the belt with the Canucks and with the system. I think they're going to be better defensively, which is the most important thing. And along with a healthy Demko, which we're hopeful for, a very confident Kevin Lankinen. I keep talking about how the back end of the team, from goaltending and defensemen, that's going to be the strength of the team. There's a lot of people concerned about the Canucks forwards, which is fair. Obviously, of the 3 positional, goaltending, defense, and forwards, that's probably the weakest of the 3. But I'm still hopeful for the forwards. But we'll tackle that topic next week. For now, we're talking about the Canucks D. So I think the fact that you have Marcus Pettersson, DPD, Mancini, Villander, throw in Joseph, those are the 5 new names since the start of last season. Out are Soucy, Juleson, Desharnais, and whoever else started the season with us and is not with us. I think we are better. I think we're a lot better. We are better to be potentially offensively, and then we are certainly going to be better on the defensive end. I think the end of last year showed it. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to do 5 to 6 minutes of your comments now before we get to the mid-show sponsor read, where then I'm going to bring... Heinen's out. I'm just talking about defensemen, though. Thank you. Yeah, so let's talk about the defense. I'm going to take 5 or 6 minutes of your questions and comments starting now, and then we'll bring on Tyler for right after the break. Last episode, we compared our goaltender rankings to the rest of the league. Yeah, I didn't have time to do that, Adrian, and it's really hard because it's easy to compare 2 goalies to 6 defensemen. I do think our defense is top 10 in the league. You know how I said goaltending was top 5? I'd say the defense is top 10. I can think of some 6-man units that are certainly better, especially on the high end, where you have teams that have maybe 2 or 3 defensemen that are better than our top 4. But obviously Hughes is a unicorn, though. So Hughes is the great equalizer. Yeah, I think we're top 10, but I couldn't sit there and tell you which teams have better decor off the bat. But you think of any team that went to Colorado's decor is probably a little bit better. Vegas is good. Definitely not Edmonton's, but you think about a lot of the teams that went deep. Dallas is good. So a lot of those teams have really good decors as well. Hey, Rain, I don't see. Yeah, Joshua Gone. Thank you. I was just talking about defensemen, you guys. I don't see Hughes Hronek splitting. Ever since the contract extension, Hronek is being paid to be the Devon Taves for Quinn Hughes. Yeah, great point. I was thinking Makar, Taves, Hughes, Hronek. And ironically, Hronek and Taves had the same cap hit. I did not know that. Thank you, Rain. Nice to see you. Hey, Kevin. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. You're always welcome here. Revenge PD indeed. Oh, yeah, Brandstrom out after another Canucks legend. 3 goals. 3 goals. Hey, Harry. I'm great. Nice chatting with you today. How many points or goals do you think Quinn will get in total this season? Let's go 19 goals, 65 assists for 84 points. How's that? How's that? 84 points for Hughes. That's just off the top of my head. That could probably change before the season starts. What about trading Bluger, a low draft pick, for Max Domi? I do like Max Domi. I think Bluger could be expendable if we get a 2C, then bump Hito down to 3C, and then Ratu becomes your 4C. I'd be open to this, but Bluger does check off a lot of things well that like he's a complete player and you're not paying him a lot, admittedly. Good question though. I don't know Domi's contract status or anything like that. I don't believe the plan was ever to play Hughes and Hronek together, but because how well they played together during 23-24, they were kind of forced to play with it. Yeah, and don't you want Hronek having the most minutes of all the right shot guys? Do you think Hughes and Myers pairing was any good before? Yeah, they're fine. They weren't amazing, but they're fine. They're fine. Would I split up Hughes and Hronek based on the new defense coach's comments? 100%. He may split them up. Yeah, I don't mind it because I think Marcus Pettersson is good, and then Hronek can be the offensive guy on that pairing. I'd be fine with Myers with Hughes and Pettersson with Hronek. I'd be okay with that. Yes, exactly. Sasson, Ratu, or again, acquiring a second line center. I agree. Our D-core is better, but we are definitely biased. No one outside of the Canucks would put us top 5, maybe top 2. Exactly. I'm with you. We always overvalue our players when it comes to what we think we're going to get for them in a trade, what we think they're worth, in free agency, blah, blah, blah. So, yep, I'd say top 10, but certainly not top 5. It's an upgrade. Hopefully that will help some of the swings on our side and not blow leads. Yes, yes. Speaking of defense, the min of CCC is great versus trolls. Yeah, we have moments, and I count on a lot of you to take care of business. I did see the, we talked about this last show, the highlight of David Booth pulling a spinorama move out. So I will make sure that my jersey is still upstairs and that the moths haven't eaten it through. Hey, Carol, let's get some love to Carol in the chat. I love Carol. Our conversations slap, if you know where I'm going. Hard. So let's give some love to legendary Carol Bovelander, $5 from the legend herself. Hi, Clay. Thanks for the wonderful chat we had. I'm so high. Hopefully naturally high. And thanks to all the wonderful people in the CCC community. You are most welcome, Carol. And I really enjoyed the chat. I got a nice 40-minute walk-in in 25-degree heat when I was chatting with you earlier today. So let's get some love to legendary Carol Bovelander chat. All right, 2 more minutes, and then we better go. You're right, Max Domi is not a center. Yeah, Marco Rossi, we keep hearing about him, but is anything ever going to happen? Hughes and Hronek, definitely our best duo in a long time. How big of a departure from target system do you think there will be? Not only Foot taking over, but all new assistants. I think defensively, we're not going to see a big change because that was a strength of our team, and Adam Foote coached the D last year. I think where we're going to see a big difference, Irvin, is in the offensive zone on the power play. So that's what I'm looking forward to for sure. Hey, Simon, that's exactly what I'm talking about this entire stream. I think the Canucks... Actually, I realize I'm zoomed in a little too much. I made a small change to my room. I'm not sure if anyone noticed it, but hey, Clay, how do you think Vancouver is going to do with their defensemen? I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a top 10 unit for sure. Do you think McTavish and Rossi could still be an option for the Canucks since they're still available? They haven't gotten picked up yet. Well, remember, McTavish and Rossi are restricted free agents. They're not unrestricted, so they're technically under contract with their teams, or at least that those teams have they're under contract with their teams right now. So we will see what happens. I wouldn't hold my breath. I wouldn't be disappointed if Willander cracked the lineup. Yes, I wouldn't be disappointed either, but I wouldn't also be disappointed if he starts in Abbotsford because they do take longer to develop. All right.